Happy January 8th, JLD here, and welcome to MicroStrategy Today. In this show, we'll be talking about Bitcoin miners changing the game for MicroStrategy and everybody else, how a truck driver has made over 600% in MicroStrategy just by listening to Michael Saylor videos. Speaking of videos, I've got a great one by the future Secretary of Commerce. You're not going to want to miss that. And I have a 30-second clip from Michael Saylor. That's one of my favorite 30-second clips ever. We also have a lot of great tweets and some other cool stuff in store for you. But remember, this is just my opinion. This entire video is not financial advice. And make sure to comment below where you're watching from. We're collecting some great data on this. And I did have yesterday that epic 75-minute interview with the founder of MSTR.com come out. It's already getting some really cool comments. People are really getting some great alpha from that. So check out my Master MicroStrategy series to watch that interview. And it's great. Radu is a cool dude and he just crushes it. So let's dive on in. First topic of the day is public Bitcoin miners follow MicroStrategy's lead, adopt Treasury strategy in 2024. Now, why is this so awesome? Why is this so important? Well, what used to be the game? The game used to be that Bitcoin miners would mine Bitcoin and then they would sell most of it or all of it as quickly as possible, just dump it onto the market because they had to pay for their mining equipment, for the electricity, for everything that was going on with the infrastructure of mining Bitcoin. And that would always cause a massive supply being dumped into Bitcoin in general. Now they've seen what Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy have been doing for the past 4 years. And guess what? They have decided to change the game as well. They said, if it's working for MSTR, if it's working for Michael Saylor, it could work for us as well. And they're doing the Michael Saylor playbook, the MSTR playbook. And I have it right here. Major miners even purchase Bitcoin. Companies like Mara, Riot, and Hut 8 purchase additional Bitcoin using borrowed funds, signaling a strong commitment to this treasury strategy. So not only are these miners mining Bitcoin and holding them, they are also doing the MicroStrategy playbook of, hey, we're going to borrow money and buy more Bitcoin to boost up our treasury. So not only are they not dumping, they're acquiring more through debt and hodling what they're creating. This is just going to cause an absolute supply and demand crunch in 2025 and beyond. We're there, my friends. Stay tuned. Exciting times ahead. Wanted to dive into this article about MicroStrategy's 22 billion Bitcoin investment in 2024, a game changer for institutional interest. And so now that people are looking back at 2024, they're seeing what MSTR has done, what Michael Saylor has done, and it is super powerful, my friends. This article is cool, but I just want to just highlight this last part, which is, in conclusion, MicroStrategy's 22 billion investment not only signals the growing role of institutional investors in the Bitcoin market, but also reflects broader trends in the financial world. As corporations, hedge funds, and large-scale investors embrace Bitcoin, the digital asset is increasingly being viewed as an essential component of modern investment portfolios. The implications for the future of Bitcoin are profound, potentially setting the stage for even greater adoption in the years to come. So this is what Michael Saylor and MSTR have done. They have shown the way, they have shown the playbook, and now hedge funds, corporations, large-scale investors are embracing Bitcoin. They're embracing the Bitcoin standard. They're embracing the MSTR playbook. You are, I am, and this is going to be that unbelievable flywheel effect that we talk about in 2025 and beyond. This is that feel-good story that I mentioned at the beginning about how a truck driver made $750,000 on MicroStrategy. Now, of course, this is paper games for him right now because he's still holding, and we'll see what he ends up doing and if he announced that in the future. But this is just a cool story of Jason Marquez, and this is just an individual who tweeted out, "I'm just a truck driver that loves listening to Saylor videos on YouTube while I'm driving," and then MSTR. And this shows his initial stock portfolio of, or at least his initial holdings of MicroStrategy. And he kind of goes into why he initially got into it back in 2022. I mean, he was initially scammed back in the teens. And then in 2022, he was kind of freaked out by FTX. So he said, hey, I'm going to go with somebody that I can trust. He could trust in Saylor and trust he did. And then now you can see down here when MicroStrategy was at $339, he was up over 600%, almost $750,000 gain. So depending on when you're watching this, where the MSTR stock is, he's either above or below that number. But from what I gather from reading this article, he's not selling anytime soon. So we'll see how this ends up, and we'll keep tracking this as well. Let's move over to some pretty powerful tweets for the day. Bitcoin Archive did a little recap saying MSTR bought 258,320 Bitcoin in 2024 for a total cost of $22 billion. He's not stopping. And in fact, I would append that by saying he's just getting started. BitStrategy, I love this tweet. He says, has there ever been a more engaged activist retail shareholder base than MicroStrategy? And I've never seen it. Have you ever seen it? And let's keep proving it in the comments. I mean, I'm getting 200, 300, 400 comments every single video because you're awesome. You're amazing. You're engaging. You are engaged. You're an activist. You're just enjoying this game. You're enjoying this ride. You're knowing that game theory has been activated with Bitcoin. Therefore, MSTR, and we're part of this. So keep commenting below what you like about this show, what you don't like about the show, where you're watching from, as we're collecting that data as well. I read every comment. I respond to almost every comment, and I really appreciate them. Let's keep it going with this. Chris says, too many people miss this. MicroStrategy can issue convertible bonds at a premium even when trading at 1x MNAV. This in and of itself justifies and reinforces a higher MNAV, which creates a positive feedback loop. So many people that are short MicroStrategy, that are bearish for any number of reasons, they're saying, well, it has to go back to 1 MNAV. It has to go back there because how can this stock be worth anything more than its Bitcoin holdings? Well, they obviously missed a lot of things. They've obviously never watched this show. They obviously never watched the Q3 earnings report, where Michael Saylor goes into unbelievable detail about how MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin refinery. They are offering institutions, hedge funds, large retail instruments, financial instruments that they otherwise would not be able to have exposure to Bitcoin, but through these instruments, they can. And they're doing so much. They're becoming that Bitcoin treasury company of the world. I see it. I know that you see it. And a lot of individuals cannot see it. That's okay. They'll eventually see it, and they'll get into the game a lot later. This was just powerful. I'm going to actually click on this even a little bit deeper after I read this. From Bitcoin Power Law was retweeting James Van Stratton's tweet about how this is insane. Mag 7 plus MSTR trading volume in the past few weeks. Now, just look at this. And the implications of this chart is this. This is the Mag 7. These are all massive trillion-dollar companies. Massive, the Magnificent Seven. And here's MicroStrategy's trading volume. It's typically in the top 5. Sometimes it's in the top 3 of all traded Magnificent Seven by volume. It's an absolutely insane number. It's exactly what Michael Saylor wants. He wants the trading volume. He wants the volatility, because volatility is vitality when it comes to MicroStrategy, when it comes to Bitcoin. I have a video coming up in the future about exactly why volatility is so important, so stay tuned for that. Today's Master MicroStrategy video that comes out later tonight is about MSTR versus MSTX and MSTU, which are 2x leverage plays on MicroStrategy, and also MSTY, which is the dividend or the yield producing ETF upon MicroStrategy. So I talk about the pros and cons of those instruments, those ETFs, and you can check that out later tonight in the Master MicroStrategy series. So let's move into this last tweet of the day from BitStrategy. Some men need to always spend big to fuel their ego. Michael Saylor is highly secure. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's comfortable making big Bitcoin purchases and small Bitcoin purchases depending on the circumstances. So what is this in reference to? Well, a lot of people on social media have been saying, hey, why are Michael Saylor's Bitcoin purchases getting smaller, smaller, and smaller? Because what Michael Saylor is doing is what's best for you, the shareholder, what's best for me, the shareholder, what's best for MicroStrategy long term. That's what he's doing. So when big buys are available and the right move, he does big, massive Bitcoin buys. When smaller buys are the right move, he does smaller buys based on market sentiment, based on volume, based on where Bitcoin is, based on a lot of factors. So that's what I love, is that Michael Saylor is always working for you. He's always working for me, the equity shareholder. That's why I only hold MSTR. I don't hold any other of those instruments like MSTU or MSTX. I only hold MSTR MicroStrategy because that is a leverage play on Bitcoin and I love it. Now I have that great video is coming up from the Commerce Secretary. You're not going to want to miss this. Pompliano ask a great question, and there's a great answer. And then the 30-second clip from Michael Saylor is one of my favorites. So take it away.
I would say I have hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
Okay. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars exposure to Bitcoin. And it will be billions.
I was going to say, so next year when you come back and we'll do this again and you'll be a Bitcoin billionaire and
yeah, but you remember that model I told you. So if every time Bitcoin dips, I'm going to be the buyer. Right?
Trust me, I know why you're doing the lending.
It's all coming. You figured it out.
Listen, you don't have to explain that one around here.
So yeah, I got the 50% Bitcoin. I got the Bitcoin lending, but basically what you're going to see is Cantor Fitzgerald is going to be the sponsor of Bitcoin into traditional finance.
Mm-hmm.
And so we will be the leader of it. And I'll pull out this podcast in years to come and say, see, I told you, because no one's going to remember.
Of course.
Right. But all the banks, after we do it and show people how to do it right, they'll all copy.
Mm-hmm.
And so the asset of Bitcoin will just, as it becomes more accepted, it will become more valuable. And the whole Bitcoin nation should just call it a commodity, never a currency.
Mm-hmm.
Just call it a commodity. Because if it's a currency, you're attacking the politicians of the country,
mm-hmm.
right? You're trying to replace my currency with yours.
Mm-hmm.
But if you say, hey, I'm just oil, I'm just gold,
mm-hmm.
I'm just a commodity, leave me be, right? Then they'll leave you be. And that is true. And it will be why Bitcoin, which is rare and is special, will become ever more rare, as we both know,
mm-hmm.
ever more valuable over time. It'll be financed just like gold is, right? Gold is, it's not like super financeable, but it's financeable. Oil,
mm-hmm.
it's not super financeable,
mm-hmm.
but it's financeable, right? Bitcoin will be financeable. Bitcoin will be way, way, way higher, sometimes lower. You just have to have faith.
Focus your energy. Guard your time. Train your mind. Train your body. Think for yourself. Curate your friends. Curate your environment. Keep your promises. Stay cheerful and constructive. And upgrade the world.
And there you have it, my friends, another episode of MicroStrategy Today. Here's my receipt from yesterday's purchase of $210 of MicroStrategy. I'm going to be posting this every trading day to hold myself accountable, keeping stacking MSTR. And comment below where you're watching from. We're collecting that data. It's really important because we love to see where you are watching from. And remember, this video is just my opinions. It's not financial advice. And if you're still watching this, you're really part of the MSTR crew. So let's make it official. Join at the tab below. You can just click that join button. Join the MSTR crew. We're getting together once a week just to chat live about MicroStrategy, Bitcoin, and all other things that are relevant to just living a great life around our investments and around really whatever makes sense to talk about at that time. So my friends, as the great Michael Saylor says, there is no second best.
What's the second best? There is no second best.